Hey guys, this is a bit of a weird video, but we have some gameplay for Amon that came out from the Bilibili World event. Now we do know from the developers that more information is about to come out from Amon, maybe a new gameplay trailer, another stream to talk about things a little bit more about the character specifically, but nothing's come out yet. The only gameplay we've seen were these two clips that come from Captain YG and also Sweet Honey. Their names are in Mandarin, of course, but I just figured I'd translate them. And I don't know if these were necessarily leaked. I don't think so. But regardless, I thought I'd go over them. If we get more information later from the developers about Amon, the other abilities, the other skill trees, then I'll probably take this video down, put some of the gameplay towards the end. You get the point. But it's also a quick video because despite us having about 2 hours worth of gameplay, it's not the best quality. I don't think either of these streamers are necessarily that endemic to Borderlands. They just sort of play a little bit of everything and try to out a Bilibili world. And so we didn't get to see a huge amount. For example, for both streamers, it took them 7 minutes plus to actually equip their skills. And Sweet Honey was playing in the Fade Fields part of the level, so we didn't really get to see too much new stuff there, and she only used the ability a handful of times. So we're going to focus on what Captain YG was doing, and highlighting some of the cooler gameplay clips. But be warned, he dies a lot, he's still learning the game, it's all good. One of the first things we get to see are the actual talents. Now there are a few people that have translated all of this from Mandarin, but we'll go over some of the specific talents towards the end. But we do see our first glimpse of Crucible, which is the ability where you have two axes of different elements. And as you can see, when you activate the ability, you have a bit of a cooldown window where you can throw your left one, which is a fire axe, or your right one, which is a frost axe, with a left click or right click respectively. You'll also notice that there's charges at the bottom, and these charges can be replenished over time because it's a cooldown, but also if you go and pick up those axes after they've been thrown. But you'll also notice that there's another ability that Amon has, and this is part of his trait as we've gone over before, where each of his abilities in a skill tree give him a secondary ability to work with too. And in this case, it's an axe that you can throw that is multi-elemental, I believe. And because this is slightly higher level gameplay than we've typically been seeing, we get to see some really cool augments and just general talents that are in this tree. The first is Tempered Fire. Again, these names might be completely different, but every time that you use your forging skill, which is Crucible, you will spawn an axe drone that will attack nearby enemies for a period of time, causing burning melee damage. And you could upgrade this into tier 3, where the Tempered Fire swords, where the axes now spawn an additional axe that deals frost melee damage. And you're seeing a lot of the gameplay here. Basically, when you use your secondary fire, you get two drones that are your axes to fly around and do damage, which is kind of cute. The augment that we see on the bottom right hand tree isn't that exciting. It's called Burning Cold, and your Frox axe applies freeze on impact, which I guess is pretty strong, but it's not majorly exciting. And again, really showing in the gameplay that we're seeing, so it's why I wanted to highlight these three particular talents. And that's pretty much it. Like, the gameplay, like I said, isn't the most exciting. We don't see any of the other abilities in this stream itself, but we did get a lot more information out of the talent tree anyway. We got a look at Onslaught, which we know a little bit about from Game Informer article, where you overload an Iron Fist, gaining continuous shield regeneration, bonus firearm burn, and increased movement speed. If you press F, you launch Rocket Fist, dashing forward to a target enemy and dealing burning melee damage and a close range cone, staggering the enemy. And Scourge, where you're equipped with a Forging Sense card, which I think is just a shield, to absorb all frontal damage and convert it into Vengeance. When the Vengeance Wrath offering is full, the Forged Shield will provide damage reduction. If Vengeance Wrath is not obtained within a period of time, it will consume quickly. Press the circle button, or I guess F, to launch a Forge Wave, dealing freezing damage to enemies that pass through, consuming the damage caused by the Rage boost. Which I think is different from what the Game Informer article said, so might be why we haven't seen that much gameplay on Amon so far, because stuff is still likely to change. We're going over some of the talents again, not to focus on this too much. One of them is active skill damage has a chance to critically hit and burn enemies. When you activate a forging skill, your Crucible, his gun damage will be increased for a period of time. Amon's electric damage is going to increase passively. A killing skill where Amon gains gun crit hit for a period of time. When you're reloading your gun will gain a bonus electric shock damage window for a period of time, which is kind of cool. Increases damage for your skill and also detonation damage. Axe and Stone, which is another augment, where after you do damage, your movement speed will increase for a period of time, and you can use melee attacks to detonate the ready enemies. Increases the elemental damage caused by Amon for a period of time from a kill skill. Improves the Scourge cooldown rate, increases reload speed, increases damage and magazine capacity for Amon's guns, improves Amon's status effect application rate and freezing efficiency, yada yada. It's just general bits and pieces more than anything. Like I said, the gameplay isn't super amazing for our first look at Amon, but once we get a little bit more insight from the developers, because something's bound to come out this weekend from the event about Amon, I'll take this video down, we'll do a proper one later. But also I'm a little bit busy later, so I wanted to make sure that I put something out before then, because we have some news. Let me know what you think, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!